Hey, what's up guys? We are here in Bentonville, Arkansas on the 2025 Orbea Rise SL. This is the MT version, so it is carbon. It has XT brakes. I did switch out a few components on my own. I put a wireless dropper post in and I switched to wireless shifting, which I think every e-bike should have. I'm going to talk about a few things that I like about this bike, and there is one thing that I actually hate about this bike, and we'll get to that later if you stick around to the end. I did add some of my own components on this bike because I have had it for quite a while. Actually, I've had it since last summer when the media release came out is when I got this bike, and I've spent a lot of time on it, and I'll tell you why. This bike is absolutely incredible. I think the SL category is going to be like the go-to category if you ask me personally, and I'll tell you why I feel that way. The reason I think the SL category is going to be so big is why I like this bike so much. I've spent a lot of time on this bike, and it's because it feels so natural. So in the SL version of the Rise, you get a 140, 140. The difference between the SL and the LT is the LT is going to come with a 160 fork and 150 in the rear. So you get a little bit more travel. You have to decide on your own what kind of places that you ride, which one would work for you. I can say that I have ridden this bike almost anywhere. Here in Bentonville, I've hit every trail that is out here, and including some that I thought maybe I would be under-biked on, and it did just absolutely fine. So that's why I'll be honest with you, all my other e-bikes that I've had, I only have spent probably about 10% of my riding on those other e-bikes because I've been over-biked. Where on this bike, I never feel over-biked. It's so natural feeling that when I'm on it, it feels just like riding any other bike that I have. As a matter of fact, I can turn the power off, and with the power off and no assistance, it actually feels like a regular bike. It pedals like a regular bike. I proved that the other day. I was out with my buddy Hardtail Party, if you know him. He's doing a review on a bike, and I was on this bike as he was doing that review, and because he was pedaling up and we were over in Handcut Hollow, I turned the bike off and did a few laps with it completely turned all the way off. And even with it off, I pedaled up and it was just absolutely fine. It rode just like my other bikes. Now, because the bike weighs close to 40 pounds, I do have mine sub 40, it's gonna feel a little bit more like my Ripmo on that climb, but the fact that I have an e-bike and can climb with the power turned off and it feels like a normal bike, I think that's a game changer. I will say my plans for the future are I'm gonna have a long travel bike and full power, and this is full power. This is 85 Newton meters. However, it has the Shimano EPA01 RS motor on it. The RS stands for Rider Synergy. Rider Synergy means that what my legs put in is what that motor is going to give back, and sometimes that's a drawback. Not enough for me to say I wouldn't have this bike. It's just that every once in a while I would like to have that. I miss that Bosch motor where I can just pedal and I don't have to put a lot of effort in, and sometimes that's great, but that might be the reason I found myself not riding my other e-bikes, especially on my local trails. When I would come to places like Bentonville, I absolutely ride them because this is the best place to have an e-bike because there's so many trails out there to ride that you want to get as many miles and smiles in as you can. So yeah, with the 801 RS motor, you get the 630 watt hour battery, which is plenty. I have ran out of battery a couple times on this, but because the bike pedals so normally, there's one thing about this bike that I've never gotten before on any other bike, and that is battery anxiety. I don't get battery anxiety on a bike that I can actually pedal with it turned off, and I'm telling you, that might be the #1 reason that I like this bike, is I absolutely have ridden it a ton and have gotten zero battery anxiety no matter where I've been at, because I know that I can pedal the bike back if the battery were to go dead while I was on the ride and still need to get back home or back to my van or wherever. Because of not having battery anxiety, it literally takes a weight off my shoulders, and that's probably one of my favorite things about this bike. But since I have a favorite thing about this bike, and that might be the battery anxiety, let's talk about the thing that I hate about this bike. This bike comes with internal routing through the headset. Absolutely hate headset cable routing. Hey, it looks good, don't get me wrong. Visually, it's great. The problem is it just makes your bike a little bit harder to work on, and for the average person, you may not want to when it's routed through there. You have to actually disconnect the brake in order to remove everything up front, or you can do like what happened with me. I switched out, as you can see, I have the podium fork on here, and when I switched out the fork and I was doing it by myself, I actually dropped the head, the cut pieces that they circle around it, and there's actually 1, 2, 3 of them split in half, which makes 6 pieces. What happened was when I put it together, I was holding the bars on, and guess what? those 6 pieces fell and they bounced everywhere. So it was kind of a pain in the butt. I ended up having to get some help. I was doing it actually luckily at N+1 Bikes. They're a great supporter of this channel, and I was there doing it. So luckily I had some spare hands to help me hold it all together, but it made it very difficult. And I would avoid cable routing through the headset in the future for myself. I don't ever want to pick a bike for it. Now, sometimes if I'm just like testing a bike, it's not really a big deal whether it's done like that or not. But personally, I don't like it. It actually makes things a lot more difficult, just even for basic maintenance. So I would try to avoid it in the future. Fine if a bike comes with it, not much you can do about it. But for the companies, I just say route it through the frame. It's not going to look that much different putting it through here versus like right here. I did clean up the cockpit by adding the wireless dropper and wireless shifting, which I think every e-bike should have wireless shifting, just should come with it naturally. Even if it just came with the GX, that's fine. GX is plenty. I actually have had that on other bikes and it is absolutely wonderful. I think every e-bike should come with wireless shifting. It just makes things a lot easier. Something else I can say I wasn't a huge fan about with this bike is it actually came with Schwalbe Wicked wheels, which I loved because of the name. However, those tires, they're not the best tires ever. So really I swapped them out. I'm running Maxxis on here now. I am going to switch out to the Continentals here very soon. I put the Maxxis on there so it'd be predictable in the riding that I was doing, because I've been traveling across the country. I've been to multiple different states at this point. I've been on the road for 15 days. I've driven 5,000 miles, and I wanted to have some tires that were very predictable for me. So I did go to my go-to tire. I have the Dissector in the rear and the DHF in the front, because I wanted something very predictable that I could ride anywhere and know that those tires were gonna do just fine for me, and they did. All right, to wrap things up, who's this bike for? I'll have to say, I think it's for your average rider. Having a long travel e-bike is great, but unfortunately I have felt overbiked in a lot of situations, and I've never felt overbiked on this, and there's only been a couple of times I've felt underbiked. So for me, I feel like this is the kind of the do-it-all, ride anywhere, just grab the bike easily. And I think this is for anybody that wants to get into the e-bike world. Like my wife is going to start riding this bike because it is smaller form factor. She said it doesn't feel like a big, huge motor bike like some of the e-bikes have for her. So this is going to become her bike. So I'm absolutely not getting rid of this bike. And you've heard me say that before, but there's only one bike I'll never get rid of unless you offer me enough money, but that's the pink Pivot. But this bike, because my wife said it feels like a natural bike, she's gonna ride this one instead of what she's been riding, because the one she has been riding, even though it is a small, she said it felt like a tank, and I never really understood because it was small. But once she got on this, it was a game changer for her. So this is gonna become her bike, and I'm still obviously gonna ride it. It fits me, and I'm gonna ride around my local trails. So this bike is for anyone that just doesn't want the big chunkiness that most e-bikes come with. Guys, thanks for sticking around this long. I really appreciate it. Hit that like and that subscribe button. It really does help the channel, and I'll explain to you why it helps the channel, because no one ever explains it. It gives us that motivation to make more videos. The biggest payoff for us isn't financial, it's you. You are the payoff for us, and I really, really like reading the comments. I try to get back to every single one of them. Every like, when I see it, it just gives me a woo. It makes you feel good. So that is why most YouTubers say, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel. There is sometimes financial benefit for people, but you are the benefit, and we greatly appreciate it. So thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, thank you for liking, and if you want an Orbea Rise, just hit me up. I have some abilities to get some discounts, and I'll pass them along to you. Until then, I'll see you out on the trail.